Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. I have another message from a young lady of Turkish background living in Germany. Her name is Saraya Brooks. She's married to a black man. So when she tells the Western women where they're going wrong, it's easy for a lot of women to say that she's just talking to black women. She's not. Before we go into it, just like, share, and subscribe to my channel, because we're gonna stop and start this video it's pretty popular all around YouTube and Instagram, and I've done a Let the Women Tell It episode with her before, and someone put this full length video in the description, so you can go to her channel, subscribe to her channel as well as that. But one of the things that when it comes to black women, and this is me speaking, when anybody talks about the Western women and how off-putting that they are, black women seem to take it harder than everybody else. I think that's only because they adopted some of the worst parts of feminism, and they absolutely won't let it go. And they just took it to a whole nother level. And so they priced themselves out of the market for any good men, other than to be just playthings, and for not traditional, but for transactional relationships. Now, those are mostly the hyenas on the internet. I'm still saying that there's some really great black women out there, but they're hidden. They're silent, and they're hidden behind all the hyenas that rule the airwaves. So, in order for that to be fixed, they're going to need to be more and more women like Saraya, and Crimson Cure, and a lot of other women who said, listen, this is not the way to be. There's some better ways for you to secure your future and great relationships other than being transactional all the time. So before we go any further, like, share, subscribe again to my channel. If you have questions, go ahead and put it in. I'm going to put the full link of her video in the description, and we'll just go from here, because this is not new now. It's recent video, but it's going all around the place, and rightfully so, because the message is very powerful. And so I'm going to start this up, and you guys tell me what you think, and I will stop and start it along the way, and just say my little two pieces. But again, the message is more effective when it comes from a woman, okay? Because they understand, and that's the key. But we need more women to stand, speak, take those slings and arrows to set the Western women straight, or else they're going to lose bad. So without further ado, here goes.
Black American women are no competition, and that's how I got my man. That is what a lot of people think I said in one of my YouTube videos, which is going viral on all social media platforms at this moment. I mean, TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram, whatever platform you're looking for, you will see my face with that caption on that video. And you cannot imagine, the shitstorm from certain women is like a really bad case of diarrhea right now. But luckily, at the same time, there are a lot of people who agree with my overall message, which is always any average man deserves a fit, cooperative, feminine wife, especially in today's modern society. But without any further ado, let's dive into the clip that got a lot of women upset and a lot of content creators paid. Let's dive into it.
And she just stood up that no black woman's not competition for us. German white woman, very beautiful, gorgeous. Oh, she trashing black women?
These guys covered her
I
well
won't
too.
say she's trashing them, but she's putting them in their place. I'm just joking. She ain't said nothing bad about the black woman, did she? Nah. Well, be the judge. Let's look at the video.
I already knew I had him because there was simply no competition out there for me. But let's just look at it objectively. You had this average Black American guy who now was able to choose between what he was dealing with before and somebody completely new. And let me tell you, the moment I stepped into that man's life, He really didn't know how to deal with my femininity because I was not loud. I was not screaming. I was not trying to, be louder than him. I didn't interrupt him because that's not something that I learned from home. If somebody would speak, and especially a man, you would let that man speak and then you would listen and then say whatever you have to say, right? So I was clean. I cooked. He didn't know what it was when a woman is actually in the room asking him, like, do you want something to drink? Before I got myself something to drink. Do you want something to eat? Before I started to eat my food, I would ask him, do you want to have a bite? I would come out of nowhere and just have a fruit bowl and just offer him some fruit. He didn't know none of this. So my husband, back then boyfriend, really thought this was a dream come true. He didn't know how to deal with none of this because all this me coming through, just being nurturing by nature, his peoples and his family didn't even do that for him. Like the family, there is no family unit. The average family, especially Black American family, has barely a family unit. There is no breakfast, lunch, and dinner at set times. And these are things that I introduced my husband to with my family. Can you imagine that impact that I had on him back then? So, gentlemen, do not be afraid of traveling. There are so many more women out there who are willing to take care of you. It doesn't matter if they're young, it doesn't matter if they're older. They are willing to take care of you, willing to work with you, willing to be a part of your life. You don't have to deal with whatever you are dealing with back in your hometown because, unfortunately, a lot of American women are lost in the delusional world that they are living in, and they don't even understand that they are going to be lonely for a long time, if not for the rest of their life. They say by choice, but I don't believe them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me just stop it there. She said a mouthful there, and one of the things that she emphasized a couple of times is one that she's not talking about the high value man. She's saying the average everyday man. It's not entitled, but there's nothing wrong with the average everyday man expecting a woman to respect him. One who's going to work hard, sacrifice his life for his family, have children, and build the infrastructure of the nation. There's nothing wrong with those men. And they're being overlooked by women with unrealistic expectations from the West. And it's not like those women are going to be old and lonely because it's not like people are coming checking for them and marry them. They pass them around like tools, and that's it. And women conflate that kind of energy with emotions and affection and appreciation, but the guys are just using them like tools in a tool shed. So she hit it and of course with the manners, with the loud talking, with the talk back, with the lack of respect. Well, there's receipts all over TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. You don't have to go too far to hear the receipts that are available of what women think about men in the West. White men have been going through this thing for years. Black men are going through it for years as well. And it's getting louder and louder. And we're not getting any closer and closer to a resolution, except for when women like this and other women come out and say, hey, you want better? You want something special? You have to change your behavior. So let's go ahead and hear what else she has to say.
That was a snippet out of a whole YouTube video where I was talking about how my basic daily activities have impressed and impacted my husband's daily routine. I mean, it is just what it is. And you know what? A lot of women out there should apply that knowledge that I'm trying to give to you for free. Tell me, where did you hear me say that Black American women are no competition? I was not even talking about Black American women in particular. I never said anything like that I am better than them. I never said anything like I have better qualities than a Black American woman. No, I'm always talking about modern Western women in general. And by the way, a huge shout out and thank you to everyone who was listening with their ears instead of using their emotions. Because when you compare the caption of the video that I didn't even put on the video to the words that were coming out of my mouth, the caption had nothing to do with the words that I was saying. I mean, honestly, I was talking about the American family structure, if you were able to get the message that I was trying to bring to you. Yes, I did say the average Black American family barely has a family unit. Not even in that statement, I generalized all Black families in America that they don't have a family unit. I lived in America for 2 years and I've seen a lot of messed up things in Black households, white households, and I very soon came to the conclusion, coming from a traditional household, that there is something seriously wrong that's going on in those households in America. And I was flabbergasted at the amount of disrespect an average American man would have to deal with coming from the woman of the household. I mean, these women, not only that they were disrespectful, they were lazy too. And I heard them speak a certain way to their children that had me in complete shock. I mean, I remember this one situation where this woman called her teenage son bitch, and I couldn't believe my ears. Even if that was supposed to be a joke in that moment, that word is doing something to that child. How is it going to grow up thinking it's okay that a woman is calling that boy bitch? I mean, let's be real. But enough said, let's dive into a few comments of a couple of women under my video who have a lot of love for me. You know what? I love you too. He was homeless, curious to why no Russian man wifed her if she had family values. We stay rent free in everyone's head, or why is everyone obsessed with us, or who wants something from the store? Nobody's obsessed with you, honey, trust me. Those are the ones we don't want, sis. You're good. These women are so delusional, they are absolutely obsessed with themselves. Now, honestly, what justifies these women making comments like this? Am I the problem or are they maybe the problem? I'll tell you what the issue is. They have a huge problem with someone who treats an American Black man very, very well. And that's the problem they have because they think no man deserves to be treated well if he doesn't pay. Excuse me, that doesn't even make any sense to me. If I can only be nice to you when you pay me, that makes me a whole prostitute. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just call it for what it is. You can get upset if you want to. The truth is always going to be the truth. And on this channel, all you will find is the truth, whether if you like it or not. I mean, isn't it true that the majority of modern women nowadays don't want the average man because they are just not good enough for this boss babe? But at the end of the day, these women forget, which makes them so delusional. These women forget that some of them, a lot of them, are below average. I mean, how can you sit there and put yourself on a pedestal, expect all men to do the same because you're wearing fake hair, because you're wearing fake lashes, because you have lip fillers, cheekbone fillers, forehead lip fillers, you are wearing certain type of clothes that make your body look a certain way. But once all of that comes off, I don't know who we're supposed to put on the pedestal.
So let me stop it again here. She said a mouthful. And, we just had a live the other day where where it came up with women who wear the fake hair, the eyelashes, lip fillers, those horrible claw fingernails, and just tons of makeup. That's really mostly transvestite dress. Those are really men. A lot of men dress like that so they can look beautiful when they're transitioning to women, if you believe in that kind of stuff. So women mimic that because they take a lot of cues from those quote unquote transgender men. And so they start to look like them. And so now you can't really tell the difference between whether a woman is a woman or a man who's dressed like a woman, right? Because they both look the same. They wear the same weaves, the eyelashes, the fingernails. If you don't know about male features like a big head and Adam's apple and big ass hands and big ass feet, you could miss it. So and they all look alike. There's no uniqueness, especially, and I'm Black, so I'm gonna say it, especially with Black women. It's pretty much no uniqueness. They all look the same. And so when you find one who is comfortable in her own skin, who wears her natural hair, who doesn't use eyelashes and just is comfortable with her own natural beauty, you move towards that woman a whole lot different because maybe there's something there. You at least know she doesn't have this inferiority complex about the way she looks that's not so indelible and so endemic into her personality that she cannot be herself. That whole BBL craze, as dangerous as it is, I don't know any marriageable men who require their wives to get BBLs. They definitely don't marry women based on how big their asses are. So when they're chasing low vibrational men who are attracted to those kind of things, and even if those guys have money, that doesn't mean they're not low vibration. That's why all of these ladies at some point in time have trauma, who are, and that trauma is uh, transported to the next man and the next man and the next man. So, so somehow at some age, women have to come to a revelation that they've priced themselves out of a normal market, and the market that they're in doesn't have that many bidders for anything serious. Anyway, so let's continue.
Surely not your ass. I also know for a fact that 90% of these women who are in that comment section are single. Single by choice, because the average man is not good enough. Oh, but coincidentally, that high value man is not checking for them either. So, of course, you're going to be single by choice. Who are you even kidding? And you cannot tell me that you're coming home every night and you're happy with no man that's waiting for you. No man you can cuddle with. No man that's going to help you, protect you, provide all of the security for you. You're always talking about that you can do all of that yourself. If you can, why are so many of you all over social media platforms just breaking down in your car, crying that you are sick and tired of being single? It doesn't make any sense to me. Can you please make it make sense? As women really need to stop thinking that their looks only is everything a man is looking for in a woman. I'm going to tell you one thing, the culture I come from, my Turkish culture, we take pride as women if we can go to work, take care of the household, contribute to the household, and take care of our loved ones. Some of you are out there don't even know what that means. I mean, honestly, what do you bring to the table besides you being the table? Let's break those words down. What does it even mean, you being the table? You have a career, good for you. You have a nice car, good for you. You have a good sense of humor, good for you. You're good looking, good for you. But what is a man supposed to do with all of that? Wipe his ass? A man doesn't need you for that. Do you really think that a man is going to put up with you? You looking good? You got your career, you got your car, but when he comes home, you're going to create a whole bunch of drama? No, he's not going to be with you. A lot of women are broken. Their ego is way too big for them. And you cannot tell me that a lot of women aren't broken, because if somebody is not mad at something, and most of the time these women are mad at themselves, really, women would not act like that in the comment section. They will not insult me. I mean, there are so many comments, I couldn't even put it all in one video without the video being maybe an hour long. There are so many insulting comments, even towards my husband. They don't even know the man. There's a reason why I keep my husband private. You may see a picture here, you may see a picture there, but at the end of the day, I know how shysty these women are. They would be on the internet, send him messages, send him nudes, send him all these things. So if you don't want that average man, why are you doing all of these things? What you should be really doing instead is listen to my advice and other content creators' advice and try self-correct and try to apply some of these things that I'm mentioning in my videos in your relationship and see how that impacts your relationship. A lot of you women out there want to be one in a million, but all you are is one of a million. You are no different from the next woman that pretends she is unique. She's the only one. She's everything a man is looking for in a woman. No. All of you are the same. Y'all look the same. Y'all act the same, talk the same, think the same, move the same. Try to be yourself. But I understand a lot of you don't even understand what it means to be yourself. You women are.
Let me stop that for a second. See, I mean, she's hitting on all cylinders, and the hit dogs are hollering everywhere. And it's good because we need to have more and more women come to the table and say these things, because you can't, there's no lies. There's no lies, right? Men have been held accountable for all the wrongs that we have done. And now, with the advent of the internet, the manosphere, and all of the voices outside of the manosphere, even though they don't like to be called that, the message is still the same. Men are standing up, and they're professing their standards, and it's changing the way relationships are going to be formed, because more and more men are not putting up being a second fiddle to an overbearing, domineering, chaotic woman. And we should have never even succumbed to that shit in the first place. I know that's not what's in my household, right? And I see the difference in my household as a whole lot of other people. There was around 5 or 6 of us when I got married around 37 years ago. We all got married at the same time. None of those marriages are still together, except mine. Except mine. You know, and everybody's breakup has some element of all this horseshit that's going around here. Not that I was any great shakes. It's just that I got blessed to find the right kind of woman to understand that there are gender roles. There are roles that we take in a family. And we need and the vows actually mean something. And they meant a lot to both me and my wife. And we were committed. So those kind of relationships, they say don't exist anymore, or they cannot be formed anymore. But I don't believe that's true. I believe that when two people want to get together, they should be willing to have a conversation, several conversations, a lifetimes of conversations to make sure that they can make their union work. And it's not a partnership. A marriage is a covenant, right? Underneath that, there's some things you partner with, but there's some things that's ordained by God, and that's the covenant. And you have to believe in that stuff. So here we go.
Are not even self-aware nowadays. I mean, honestly, who are you to sit there and say that the average man is not good enough? If it wasn't for that average man working an average job, your trash wouldn't be picked up on time. Your stinking ass shit wouldn't flush down the toilet properly. There would be no roads. There would be no auto mechanics. So for us women to sit there and say that we don't want any average man, we're just looking for the high value man, that is so wrong. We, us as women, we benefit so much from the average man. And the average man doesn't even want anything in return for that. But you have nothing else better to do than to sit there and shit on an average man all day long.
Let me stop it there. Hey, listen, go. I'm going to put the link to this in my description. I'm going to leave it there. She has a few more minutes to go. But I wanted to ended on that emphasis about the average man, because she's not talking about high value men. She's talking about just the average guy, the average working dude who wants to make a life for himself, build a family, and, raise children and become productive citizens with productive children and a working household, wife, husband, children, the bond between the wife and her, the covenant, the promise, the vows. And it's almost impossible to build that with a Western woman these days if you weren't married a long time ago. Now, everybody's still having babies, but not too many people want to go ahead and go and take that step and say, you know what? Especially as a man, I can't see you leaving it open for some other man to step in to take your kids away from you if your woman leaves, because the courts are going to give her the kid. Unless she's really messed up. You can fight and spend all the money you want. Unless she's really messed up, you're going to be reduced to seeing your kid only once or twice a week. Even with 50-50 custody, that's not enough, because you need to be in the house every single day. So if you get a woman pregnant, you have a baby, I'm talking to the men out there. Forget about talking to women. This is just me talking to you. If you have a woman and she's good enough to have your kid, you need to make that sacrifice, because you're on the hook whether you like it or not for 18 to 21 years, period. You to have a paternity test as well, so you can make sure the kid is yours. Anyway, other than that, I like what this sister had to say. And yeah, I called her a sister because she's a human being, and I do that from time to time. Anyway, our pain, marriage, politics, and sports, over and out.